Ethics, Part 1. All research that involves human subjects needs to be subject to scrutiny to ensure it complies with ethical codes of conduct. For example, in universities, no research can be undertaken without approval from the relevant ethics committee, and some professional bodies also have ethical codes that must be adhered to. Informed consent. These are informed consent, freedom from harm, the right to withdraw, the right to anonymity, and confidentiality. Informed consent means that the person must be told the exact nature and purpose of the research before they agree to take part. Some ethical codes require the researcher to gain the written consent of those taking part, but this is not a hard and fast rule. It is often assumed that with written consent it's a legal requirement, but in the UK this is not the case. However, different professional bodies may stipulate this is a requirement, but as the following slides show, it can be a complicated issue. There are a number of reasons why asking people to sign a piece of paper may act as a barrier to participation for some research subjects. For example, with migrants or refugees whose first language is not English, or if you wish to research a subject that touches on illegal behaviour, such as drug taking or antisocial behaviour. If you are researching abroad, some cultures may regard the request to sign such a piece of paper as patronising and insulting. In certain circumstances, such as forms of observational research, it is not practical to gain informed consent from all involved. However, if your research subjects are under the age of 16, you will be required to obtain written consent from their parents or guardians to allow them to take part. Informed consent and deception. The important point is that there is no deliberate deception involved, and that people are fully informed about the research and its aims before they take part. Deception may be allowed, but only under very specific circumstances, and is the exception rather than the rule. Researchers must also ensure, as far as they can, that the research subjects will not suffer any harm from their involvement in the research. This includes both physical and mental harm. However, this cannot be guaranteed entirely if we consider that certain topics may cause anxiety or stress to some research subjects. All research subjects have the right to withdraw from the research at any time, and to request that any information they have provided is not used. What is important is that you can show that you took reasonable steps to avoid causing harm, and if it occurs, that this was not intentional. Covert research, which is dealt with in the session on observation, is rarely allowed now. Anonymity and confidentiality. Ensuring people that they will remain anonymous is important, as this allows research subjects to talk openly. For example, if you are doing work in an organisation, some people may want to be critical of the current management, but would be unwilling to say so unless you can ensure that what they say will not be traced to them. Guaranteeing confidentiality is another way of ensuring that your research subjects are protected, and this applies as much to the ways in which you store your research data as well as how you write it up. Different professional bodies and organisations have different rules on the secure storage of data, and these also need to conform to the Data Protection Act, which we look at in Ethics 2.